Hi, today I'm going to try and show you some basics of integer addition. It's the basis of almost all algebra, is knowing your integers. It's extremely important. The bad news, if you're at 90%, 95%, it's not good enough. If you're missing one problem out of 10, one problem out of 20, it is a guarantee that you will fail in algebra. So you're going to have to practice. The good news is integer addition is extremely easy. It has one rule, at least for me. I simply use the rule, who won? And I'm going to show you how to apply it. A lot of people want to learn their integers by using the rules and sing-songing it. For example, a negative plus a negative, and I'll bet you thought is a positive, and you're wrong. A negative times a negative is a positive, and don't learn your rules that way. The way you need to learn your rules is by practicing using them on real examples. If I ask negative 5 plus 7, both of these are integers. And a lot of people want to apply the rule of looking for the larger, applying the sign to the larger, looking at if it's a difference, different signs have a difference. It's a very involved process. My recommendation is to go with who won. I have 5 negatives and 7 positives. Who won? The positives win by 2. That's all. That's all you have to do every single time. If I add 50 and negative 47, who won? I have 47 negatives and 50 positives. The positives win by 3. If I have negative 10 and positive 3, who won? The negatives win by 7. Now, there's one other thing that you want to keep in mind, and that is that mathematics is additive. That means if you learn something in first grade, it still applies now. 5 plus 3 has always been 8. It'll always be 8. The reason that it's 8 is that we have positives, we have 5 positives, and we have 3 positives. And there are no negatives. There's nobody to do battle with them. You can think of it as the positives score 5, the positives score 3, and they win by 8. The same is true for negatives, and this is where we run into problems. If I add negative 7 and negative 5, the negatives win. There are no positives to eliminate these negatives. I have negative 12. And if you learn the sing-song, a negative times a negative is a positive. That is correct. However, we're doing addition. And I like to think of this situation as follows. Debt accumulates. When I see 2 negatives, I think of it as I spent $7 and I spent another $5 and I now owe 12. If you go out and swipe your credit card all month long and at the end of the month you're going to have debt. And I want you to remember, negatives join up and accumulate. Now we'll do a little practice. Make sure you got it. Write down the answers to these. Pause the tape if you need to, or the video. Pause the video and do these problems. And I'll write the answers for you in just a second. You didn't pause it, but that's okay. The bad news is, if you watch me do it and you don't work ahead, you won't learn anything. You have to try it yourself. So pause it, do the problems, write them down, and then check your answer. The positives win by 2. The negatives win by 6. Debt accumulates. Negatives win by 5, excuse me. Positives add up. Positives win by 3. Negatives win by 2. Debt accumulates. Positives win by 13. And debt accumulates. Now if you get them all right, you still need to practice. Make sure that you understand addition perfectly. Because if you're going to move on, these are very simple problems. They get a little more complicated when you get 10 or 15 or 20 integer operations in a single problem, which will happen. Our next video is going to be subtraction. I don't want you to do subtraction until you have addition at 100%. Go on to a good place is freerice.com. Do a little practice, feed some hungry people. Go to freerice.com, go under basic arithmetic or basic algebra, practice your multiplication tables, practice your integer addition. So come back and check out subtraction.